This tent seriously surprised me more than I ever thought it would. For its design, its specification, the little details that most budget manufacturers tend to miss out on, this tent, space-wise, weight, everything, in my mind, totally annihilates the Lanshan Pro. So keep watching to find out more. So I'm quite excited tonight to be testing this tent. This is a new tent that's come out from Hill Zero. They were the guys who sent me out the hot tent that I had, the TP one, a little while back. But this is their delve into the ultralight trekking pole tent. The specifications on this tent is 1.2 kilos. So it is heavier than something like a Lanshan Pro. However, it does come with carbon fibre poles at the end, which differentiates it quite a lot from the Pro. Now that 1.2 kilos includes 14 carbon fibre pegs. It also includes 2 carbon fibre end poles and everything you get within the entire pack. So this could be shaved down a bit, but obviously the Lanshan doesn't include weights of pegs. It's made of a 20D tear resistant single side silicone. Its waterproof rating to 1500 millimeters. It's got YKK zippers and high strength thread. It's also been heat seam seal taped, so it is fully waterproof and there is no need for seam sealing it. The pegs are around 6 inches. They're very similar to my Eastern Nanos. They are 9 inches, so it'll be interesting to see how well they fare in the ground on Dartmoor, because it's pretty rocky. The poles go in tip up and they fit into a small reinforced pouch, which means they don't move. So in high winds, they're not going to slip out. Unlike the Lanshan, where the handle goes up and it isn't in a pouch, it's just in a reinforced section. And it has happened with other people in the past where in high winds this has popped out and burst through the top of the tent. This is a fantastic little tent. 2-person, 1.2 kilos. It's got raised ends. So although it's only 2.1 meters long, I fit in it with loads of space. It's really solid, it's really sturdy. It's got 4 extra guide up points should you need it in high wind. 2 big vestibules, asymmetric doors, so they're different either side. And then you've got the vents under here that are closed currently, and you can unzip those and open them for more airflow. It's a single skin tent, so similar to sort of a Lanshan Pro, but I think it's a lot better. It's got a lot more features than a Lanshan Pro, and I'm really impressed with it, so I'm testing it out tonight and I'll give you my verdict in the morning. Inside the tent you have a T-zipper door, so you can open this up fully either side or both. It also has a lantern hook, not a loop, which I much prefer, and it's got one on each end, so you could tie a line across there for drying clothes. On each corner of the tent there is a small pocket, decent sized actually, so you've got 4 pockets, one in each corner. Now that makes a massive difference. The Lanshan has one at each end, which I find a bit ridiculous, and they just flap on the floor, so this, way better. There is no ventilation on the outside like you get with the Lanshan, but this does have a 2-way zip, which I don't think you do get with the Lanshan. So you can vent the top, and there is a cover over there, so you can keep yourself dry, but vent whilst cooking, or just get some more airflow and ventilation through. Obviously you've got big mesh doors, but then at each end of the tent, you have this section here, which is covered because of the angle, so you can open this up fully, roll it down, you can tie it up with that, and then you've got a mesh vent through there, so you can get some good airflow coming through the bottom of the tent. Although I'm not a lover of non-elastic tie points for the doors, this actually has an adjustable toggle on it, so you can put it in and tighten it up fully, so you can make it nice and loose, so it's easy to do and to undo, and then you can also tighten it so that the door doesn't fall out at all. Now this tent is called the Mantis, I think they call it the Manis 2P, but they refer to the praying mantis quite a lot in the design of it. So the Mantis 2P has a major advantage over a Lanshan Pro. This is a single skin tent, exactly the same, but anyone who knows me knows I am 6'4", or 192 centimeters. A Lanshan Pro internal is 230 centimeters long, and I can just fit. It's the same length as my Lanshan 1 Plus, which is a double skin tent, and it is just a squeeze fit. This is only 210 centimeters long. So how do I fit in it? This is where this comes in really, really clever. This guy out point at the end here that has a carbon fibre pole lifts it up into a point. So the 210 is to the bottom. Now I'm 192 centimetres, so if tents were square ended, I'd have plenty of room. But because the Lanshans are pyramid shaped, you lose 20 to 30 centimetres at each end. So this, with me laying down, and my feet here at the end of my mat, I will now lay down and show you where my head is. I have got a foot behind me and above my head, and I'm on my mat now, so I'm not going to be any higher than what I currently am. Even with the peak of my cap, it's nowhere near the top of the tent. So having this little extended point at each end, it really, really increases the volume inside this tent and the space. So it's 210 centimetres long, it's 120 wide, 125 centimetres high. So me sitting up, I've got probably 8 to 10 inches above my head. This tent will fit the biggest of people. I think you could probably be up to about 6'10", and I think you'll still fit in here. So far, I'm very, very impressed with this tent. It's got really good build quality. The only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is the floor. I think is the same thickness as the tent itself. I'm going to check that. So yeah, there's nothing that says that the tent floor is a thicker grade of material than the rest of the tent, which is 20D. So it'd be interesting to see how waterproof the floor stays, because the ground is pretty sodden at the moment. But so far, I really like it. There's also 4 additional guy lighters, because there are 4 additional points on the outside of the tent that you can tie these to in high wind situations. So another good thing about this tent, and I mentioned this before with asymmetric doors. So the door opens on the left. You could open this side instead if you want to, but the door naturally opens to the left because the zip arcs around to the left. But the wind is coming in this way currently. You can see it blowing the door slightly there. So I could swap it around, or I could just use the other vestibule, because the door also opens on the left as you're looking at it, and therefore the wind will be coming from the right this way and protected with that door open. Our temperature has really dropped now. I actually thought I was going to be a bit too warm tonight. It was really sunny earlier on today, very warm. There was people down at the beach in shorts and t-shirts, and I thought, am I going to get too hot in here? But yeah, it's dropped down. It did say I was going to get down to sort of 3 degrees, maybe 4. But I think with this all being mesh on the sides, obviously the vestibules have got a gap underneath them. There's a fair bit of, it's not windy as such, but the cold's getting in underneath it. So yeah, I have just put my down jacket on underneath this because I was getting really cold. But I am incredibly impressed with the size inside this tent. It is like a TARDIS. I mean, I've just been laying down for a little while, and there's just a ton of room above my head. And bearing in mind this is shorter than the Lanshan, as I was saying before, just having those extra poles at the end that extends it up and outwards, that has made a massive, massive difference. It just feels cavernous inside here, even for me. So if I had to make a change to this tent, there'd be 2 things I would do, and this is really being picky. The zips, where you've got the T-zip on here, the pole that connects into the top doesn't connect to the tent at the bottom, so there isn't a strap or a loop that holds around the handle. So the bottom of the tent is essentially free, it's loose. So when you do the zip up, it can often pull the floor up with it. So you tend to jiggle it a bit. Nothing major. It's mainly when both zips are open either side. But other than that, they go fine. The zips they work well. That, and I'd like to see a 4-season inner option. So instead of all mesh on the doors, maybe mesh at the top, solid at the bottom, because you've still got the option for the vents at the ends, at the foot and the head ends, which is more than enough ventilation, to be honest with you. I know it's a single skin tent. There is 0 condensation here at the moment, but yeah, it's performing well, but it's just letting quite a lot of a breeze in, so that's keeping the temperature quite low, which is not ideal. So this is more expensive than a Lanshan, and at the moment you can only order it from abroad. However, the cost includes tax. There's no sort of additional VAT import taxes when it comes into the UK. The company are looking at getting it on Amazon in the UK, because at the moment it's only on the US States Amazon. There is one option for it on Amazon, and it comes out about 590 quid or something stupid, which is, it's not them doing it, so ignore that. But hopefully soon it will be on Amazon, but you can order it from their website and there's no additional import taxes. So my final thoughts on this tent. I absolutely love it. Honestly, never thought I would like it as much as I do. For space, there's tons of space. 1.2 kilos, that's everything, all in. The pegs, everything. And the pegs worked. They worked really well. They went in the ground, they came out nicely, they didn't bend, they didn't break. So, positives all around. The guy lines on it are huge. They're like 10 feet long. There's lots of little things that have been thought about on this tent that I think a lot of other manufacturers miss out on. So apart from a clip at the bottom of the tent for the tracking pole to hold it down, and maybe an option for a 4-season inner, that's about it. And that's me being really, really picky.